Good evening, everybody. I'm trying to think of something I don't normally say at this point, and I can't. So I hope everyone's weekend has gone well, or is going well. For me, it's almost over. So what are we doing? Actually, sort of a combination of things. Leveling up Oran Goals Pact, leveling up the beginner bow, what's it called? Thistle? And visiting Votive Shrines so I can get more standing with the Silent Rose. And if I happen to pick up bits and pieces along the way, so much the better. Right, where's the nearest votive tree? Let's head up to that one, which I think is in this direction. I say I think, as if I wasn't just looking at the map. Oh, and of course, the first thing that happens is... Where are you? And stop to... Oh, that's right. I had been in the Undercity, hadn't I? Oh, I'm not doing well today. I'm normally a little bit more careful than this. Nearly fell down the hole too. Right. Hopefully, bought myself a little time. No, I did not. You know, every time I see something like a water wheel, I find myself saying to myself, I wonder if they're using the create mod for that. Sorry, what were we saying? If you haven't seen the create mod, by the way, in Minecraft, it's well worth a look if you're a Minecraft player. Serves pretty much, I won't say it's a complete replacement for redstone, but you can certainly do worlds in which you use no redstone at all and still have full automation. Only downside is, last I checked, I think it was still only available for 120.1. Am I going the right way? Well, I'm heading for this one, apparently. Okay, that was slightly inadvertent. We'll do that. Always feel somewhat uncomfortable walking in water like this, which is so obviously polluted, as though I might get some damage from it. Yeah, I mean, that does look fairly disgusting. Right, where we oh, I'm still going in the right way. Oh, there we go. One world tree and votive shrine coming right up. Let's see what we've got. Oh. Oh, I'm very tempted to do this one. Oh, I see. I've never actually tried this. Never mind. I thought it would allow me to put in a message like, beware the Jabberwock, my son. But apparently it doesn't. Huh. I have to confess, I don't know really how the votive shrines work, how often they refresh. Is it simply that... Actually, it's been less than 24 hours, so did I do them all?
None escape Lord Silent's judgment. Stars.
I'm learning. Sometimes when they go down, they don't go all the way down. And that dragonfly nearly distracted me. Yeah, I don't think I've ever played a game before where the word expression, that dragonfly, I seem to have irritated somebody. It's my lot in life. Oh, you do not sound happy. Of course, technically speaking, a headshot like that is probably the worst shot to take. Those helms look like they would be quite resistant to damage. Of course, I suppose you could always argue I'm getting an arrow through the arrow slits, but was it yesterday when you look down from the top, there doesn't seem to be a head inside the helm. I think this was one of the very, very first places I visited in this game, isn't it? I suppose as a result it's always going to have a bit of... I'm going to have a bit of a soft spot for it. A bit like doing... Oh. Oh! That looks like... Oh, that's metal. I was trying to look straight down the helm. Well, seeing as I'm here, I might as well clear it out. Even though I've been here before. If you ever want some idea of what arrows really do to armor, longbows I mean, there's some channel called... Oh, grief. Todd Cutler. God, do you know why I watch him quite a bit and I can't remember what his channel's called. Once you subscribe, you just recognize it and you don't even think about it after that. But it's a very... They did a series of experiments on, as far as they can tell, historically accurate longbows and armor to see the effects of arrows on armor. And it is quite a fascinating study. Right. What was I doing again? Apart from wandering around the landscape, slaughtering the evil minions by the boatload. Actually, I need to find the history fragments around here too at some point. Let's go and visit. I don't know what these are called. And they don't always... I'm supposed to get a prompt for them, but you don't always do that unless... I suppose I could have done it already. I don't know the frequency with which they pop up. You know, I don't think you're doing your sword any favors like that. I suppose he could... I wonder, I suppose he could be trying to straighten it. But he hasn't heated it up at all. And there's no forge. Right, where was I headed? Completely in the wrong direction, apparently. This way. I'm terrible, really. I can't remember the name of the good guys, the bad guys. How many hours have I got in this game? I don't know, it must be 40 or so. You'd think I'd have picked up the basics, but I've got nearly 1,000 hours in Warframe, and I still forget what stuff is called in that, so... Hang on, I already visited that tree, didn't I? Or was it this one? I'd be useless as an adventurer. Hey, Tony, how are you doing? Good to see you. How's your weekend going? Right, I was still trying to find a Votive Shrine, see whether or not it's renewed or anything. Nope, hang on. Which one am I headed for? Did I try this one? Should be one around here somewhere. Oh no. I think I've already looked up at this one. Yeah, I never know which way I'm going. Yes, I've already been to this one. I do seem to have gotten myself, if not lost, then something. Oh, standing right next to it. Okay, Beloyed parchment. Yes. Accept tail. Come, little sparrow. Tell me in which direction I must go. How does the sparrow know? If I was doing higher level games, a high level.
The kill to your path.
That was unexpected. Unexpected assistance. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Anybody left a key hanging around that I could use? Oh, that's always good. I'm always slightly envious of people who can sleep properly instead of having to do it in bits like me. No, didn't want to do that. That's what I wanted to do. So I went to all that trouble. Oh wow, that is late. Oh right, yes. I keep wanting to call it Bitcoin, and I have to sit and think. Bitchcraft, yeah, interesting. I don't know whether I'll return to it next weekend because I certainly don't have the time in between now and then to do it. But I can. It's got potential. It's not about to replace Vintage Story though. I'm actually looking forward to tomorrow's live stream for that. I mean, I actually look forward to pretty much all my live streams, but yes, making tomorrow should be entitled Vintage Story Baking Bread because I finally got the means to bake bread. And unless you're a Vintage Story player, you've got no idea how satisfying that is going to be. The thing that I like about the baking bread thing as a mechanic, it looks like it'll help me survive through the winter. You are annoyingly tough. In a funny sort of way, you know. Bitchcraft Online reminds me of several sort of games. I mean, on the one hand, and I can't remember if I mentioned this during the stream, there's sort of a Hightail feel to it, even though it's most emphatically not Hightail. I need to get the next. It's got a certain similarity to sort of generic survival games, sort of, but the quest system for teaching you stuff is rather nice. What was the other game it sort of reminded me of? What was it? I did a couple of videos about it. If Dani is here, they'll remember it. It Oh grief, I'm gonna have to check and see what was it called. It's the one I specifically did for the developers. And what was it called? I'm sorry, and now I'm. It's called Kind Heart Survivors. Yeah, okay. By a Brazilian indie developer. It sort of reminded me of that, except that Kind Heart Survivors is very much stripped down. But yeah, it sort of reminded me of that. And I don't mean in any specific way, I mean sort of in the feel it gives you. I want to know why stolen ichor is such a bad thing. I really do. I ought to revisit Kind Heart Survivors, just to see how it's going, see if they've updated the demo. They're another one of those people that I have developers that I have a soft spot for because they explicitly reached out to me. And were nice, you know. And I think they made some changes based on what I said. And they watched the live stream as far as I can tell. Right, where was I headed? Ah, I am inadvertently going exactly the right way. How about that? Last time I did this, there were a few more than 4 present. In case anybody's interested in Kind Heart Survivors, by all means go and check out the demo on Steam. I would point out it is really, I think, a kid's game. But if you have very young children who might be interested in survival games, it's actually not a bad sort of little introduction, but I mean, that assumes that they don't want to play Minecraft. Alright, now I need to find the other member of... I was going to call them the Silent Enclave. Silent Rose, and get the next... Where are you? Oh. Oh, I see. It's not finished, is it? I've got to go and clobber the banneret. Banneret? Banneret. I probably ought to up armor myself for this.
Halt! In Simon's name, drop that!
Sorry, what? Were you trying to grab my attention?
Poseidon's creed! But Frank. Still ankle!
I object to that. Any ichor I have, I came about in the traditional fashion. What's the range of that healing spell? The interesting thing is, I'm not sure that the wizards, or whatever they are, that are casting those spells can necessarily cast them upon themselves. Wow, that wasn't a bad shot, if I say so myself. Yeah, definitely didn't want to be around him when he self-destructed. So why were you... Oh, bunnies. Release the bunnies. Right. Oh. I didn't realize I was already here. Oh, I am. Okay. Anybody seen any Odin intel lately? Sort of hanging around out in the open, waiting for me to find it? Perhaps I shouldn't have blinked everybody at long range. Although, that last little fight... Where have you hidden it? Just keep sending me backwards and forwards, obviously, through the same general area. Did it despawn? Oh, come on, you irritating game. A clue would be useful. Well, I suppose arguably it is giving me a clue, isn't it? You didn't hide it in a barrel or something, did you? Nope, apparently not. Oh, come on. One of the rabbits wasn't carrying it, was it? No, that wouldn't make any sense. It's a fantasy game, is it necessary? Am I going to have to abandon this? I don't know what the story is about why they have them caged. It's a thing they do. I think I sometimes wonder, given the sort of close to nature aspect of the envoy here, that is you, is it simply supposed to highlight how bad the enemy are? Look what they do. They imprison animals. Maybe they imprison them for food. I mean, everything that they think. But it must have taken a lot of effort. I mean, trapping rabbits, okay, I've never tried it, but... Can't imagine it's particularly easy to trap squirrels, although that's why you make drop traps. There are traps you can construct that will do that, aren't there? But, you know, if it's for food, why would you... And you have rabbits available and ducks and beavers. Why would you go after squirrels unless you want fancy a change of pace? Long time ago, when I was a kid, reading Guns and Ammo magazine. Yes, when I was a kid, Guns and Ammo magazine was practically a must-read. They used to... I remember one time it actually published a recipe for squirrel stew. Curiously, in some places, the squirrels have passively kind of got their own back. There is a, supposedly, I will call it a delicacy, which basically means nobody else in their right mind would want to eat it. Basically, squirrel brains with gravy. That American gravy, I would assume, not the correct British gravy. Well, the problem with that is some squirrel populations have Creutzfeldt-Jakobsen's disease, which is caught by eating brains. So here's a general rule of thumb. In some parts, you probably don't want to eat squirrel brains with gravy, particularly, I think it was in Virginia. And I'd have to go back and double check and see. But if anybody's really curious. And the thing about things like Creutzfeldt-Jakobsen's disease, because it's a prion-based disease, you can't cook it to make it safe. I don't know how hot it has to be to denature prion proteins, but apparently, yeah, the cooking process doesn't do it. No. That's a lot of bones. What were they carrying? In a metal cart? What is one of these doing carrying a life potion? I mean, where were you keeping that? Under your carapace? What were you keeping it for? Why do I get the feeling that this is my punishment for shooting things at long range? I mean... Well, it's almost enough to make you give up.
Not here for prisoners, Trek.
As I discovered yesterday, you don't want to be too close to that when they suicide. Well, I say suicide. I don't suppose it's really the same thing. Yeah. Undercity down there. At least I assume that's what that is. Oh, no, 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 no. I wanted to look at the note. Nah, I don't know what the regatta is. Right, now that we've put some distance between ourselves and our target, let's go back and see whether anything was revealed by a sort of reset, which I don't suppose it was. Well, I have a feeling this is glitched. Oh! And suddenly we've got I'm just wondering if I could force a respawn. Oh. Didn't know that was down there. Whoa. You're not supposed to come gambling up here. Wow, that's I say new, not exactly new, but I mean, yeah. I have a little bit of an irritation about brass at the moment, game-wise. Which sounds questionable, doesn't it? Why on earth would I be irritated by brass? Well, in Vintage Story, you get to make bronze. And I thought I remembered the bronze was made from copper and zinc. And you do collect a lot of zinc in the game. I got quite a bit of zinc. Well, yeah. For certain values of quite a bit. No. It's copper and tin. And I have not got a decent source of tin. But there was me thinking all this time, oh, I've got all this zinc. I can
Reveal yourself, Shadow!
make bronze, no problem.
Stolen eye.
Yeah, no, that didn't turn out to be the case. I was very irritated. It was somewhat compensated for by figuring out how to make bread. Well, I'm going to have to give this one up because I just can't find this stolen intel I'm supposed to be looking for. I'm going to gallop away in this direction, as one does. See if I can get a respawn. It'll probably tell me in a minute or two that I'm abandoning the Sparrow's Tail. And then we'll head back and see if anything is fixed. This is the Siege of Fort Carlisle. I'm not going to be doing this right now. I would want more armor. I'm a great believer in plinking the enemy from a distance if I can. Right. I don't know whether that's far enough. Let's see if anything is resolved by this little tactic. And as I like to say at this point, yes, this is a tactic, not a strat. Hey, I contributed to the Q&A, something I actually knew the answer to, even if I didn't realize they were called moats. Which right. Did I wander far enough away to force a respawn? Unless... No, apparently I did not. No. I am reminded of those situations. In Warframe. Now, it doesn't necessarily happen often. I think I've seen it once, but there are some mini quests in places like Doviri where the item you're looking for has spawned someplace you literally physically cannot reach. I think I had that happen once, and what was supposed to be a sort of 20-minute mini quest turned into a 2-hour grind fest. I wonder if I... One day I'm going to have to spend more time. Let's see whether we got any stuff for 2 Volcane to...
I know.
No.
Always that cold.
No, nothing there that I particularly want or need at this point. Sorry. Hello? Yeah. Always hug your wolf pup. What do you think, pup? Hmm? What do you do here all day, anyway? Do you know, I haven't checked this lately. Oh, right, okay. This is just the same... I'm not quite sure what the point of this is, to be honest, given that it's all always the same thing. Right. Let's see if that sorted anything out. I don't suppose it did, frankly. Well, I think what we're going to do is go back to thank you. You dropped another life potion. Yeah, I think what we're going to do is go back to this world tree. Let's see if we can... Ooh, what's this? Oh, okay. Oh, so that's just the usual. Let's go to the other one, which is... that one, I suppose. Is that the book? Why has that got... Oh, right. Yep, I know what that's for. I suppose that indicates that these are for that enclave. One thing I don't know yet is how... I've seen other enclaves, but I don't know how... Do you have to switch allegiance between enclaves, or is there some other mechanism? I don't know. I'll find out eventually. Oh! What about that? Alright, let's go slay the Banneret. I think for this, I might get out some better armor.
Drop it. Good mode.
Right. So, seeing as I'm going to be putting on better armor, I am going to take a quick break. And we shall come back and do some more random slaughter. So, I will see you all in a couple of minutes. Right. Grab some tea. And we'll go and beat up on something. Or someone. Leggings. Might as well improve the leggings somewhat. I'm not going to change the hood. I like the hood. I like being able to see her face. Oh, bow. Let's update my bow. Might as well, seeing as I'm going to be doing this. Even though I don't like the fletchings on those arrows. And yes, that is currently my best sidearm, I think. Right. Where am I? Hello? Where am I? Oh, I'm right here. I used to wonder why it was taking so long, and then I realized top left-hand corner, you got the flapping bird, it's loading up the next section. Oh, I hate this place. Actually, I haven't been here in a while. Maybe I'm better at it now. It's all that swampiness. Yeah, this particular region I really don't like. There are some distinctly unpleasant enemies here. They do things like teleport. I've got a suspicion I should have gone and got the intel first, but it showed it here, so we'll try and see if we can't slay the banneret. I hate these things because they don't stay dead. See what I mean? Most impolite of it. How many times does it come back to life? Is it me or is it coming back to life? Come on, do your thing again. This time I'm going to do it the hard way. Oh! Is that what you're supposed to do? That hadn't even occurred to me. Huh. Oh, whoops. Right. Mental note to self. Well, yeah, mental note to self, don't do that again. As I head off to do exactly that again. On the other hand, this isn't necessarily bad practice for me. I haven't spent as much time as I should, arguably, in here. Well, this did not work out quite as planned. can't help but hope that there's a quest or something in here which will allow you to return it to normal. Well, this looks like the kind of area where you'll be attacked by something moderately unpleasant. I mean, there's no obvious way out. Except back the way you came. You have to wonder, don't you, in this kind of thing, right? So they've deliberately turned the area into this. Does everybody on the side of the bad guys say to themselves, hey, we like it like this, this is nice? I mean, did Sauron like the hellscape he had turned Mordor into? Yeah. Do the orcs and goblins who reside there, do they look around and say, oh yes, this is nice? One of J.R.R. Martin's criticisms of Tolkien, it's a perfectly valid one, except that it arguably misunderstands the purpose of what Tolkien was doing. Is, yeah, you know, Tolkien just focuses on the really, really broad outlines and doesn't go into details pretty much about, well, anything like, you know, what were Aragorn's economic policies? What made him a successful king? But I'd love to know, for example, how was Mordor, with its population of whatever it was, how was it self-sustaining? Where did it get food from? Did it grow its own food? Were there goblin and orc farmers? Doesn't seem very likely. Did they get it by trading? In which case there must be an awful... And what did they trade for? You know, did they approach... I mean, who on earth would ally with them? But would be an interesting point. Oh, look, we can go up this way. That's interesting. I did not know that. So you can go up this way until you can't. Okay. Well, I think we've seen everything we can here. One of the things that actually, as I got older and started learning more about things like logistics, you see, now comes across initially as quite a boring subject. You don't want logistics in your fantasy storytelling. You just want to get on with the adventure. But once out of idle curiosity, I had a sort of little look into the logistics of The Hobbit, right? So you get these, what was it, 14, 13 dwarves and hobbits, and they seem to be carrying pretty much everything they need, presumably for the whole journey, as in, if everything had gone well, on a couple of pack horses who had names that I now forget. And yeah, no, they would have the whole expedition completely unrealistic. Whoa. I mean, you would not... So you have they have a pony for every member of the party. Right. So, no, that probably wouldn't work. You probably need, ideally, 2 or 3. You would not be able to simply sort of just ride and go someplace. You're going to have to stop and rest the horses. Surprisingly frequently. They are not particularly robust creatures. Mules are better. But, and the amount of food you would need is significant. You're not going to stick it on a couple of small pack horses or pack ponies as they did. You're going to require
more grease.
A lot more than that. And there are, curiously, analogues to the kind of expedition that they were undertaking. Take a look at cattle drives. as as an example of something not dissimilar, as a matter of fact. Now, granted, yeah, you know, they probably planned on replenishing their supplies along the way, so they didn't necessarily have to take everything with them. But as I recall, trying to remember the routes they planned, I mean, there are going to be sections of it where they could not count on getting supplies. I mean, let's suppose in an ideal world they had managed to make it all the way to the Lonely Mountain. That would have required, yeah, massive amounts of supplies. And horses. I say massive amounts. And I know, you know, you think yeah, I could easily be accused of taking things too seriously and not focusing on the story. Perfectly valid criticism. But I can't help, you know, if I'd written The Hobbit, it would have been quite different. There was one expedition, and I think we've got the details of everything they took with them. It was across the outback, back in the early days of colonization. And they took everything with them that they needed for 2 years.
Find the traitor!
Yeah, look, there's no head inside that. Or at least there doesn't appear to be. Well, seeing as I'm unable to find... Oh yeah, no, it was substantial. I'm just going to change back, so to speak. I still want to get everything leveled up there. Ooh, oops, sorry. Wrong key there. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're talking carts and livestock, and yeah, literally the whole kit and caboodle. Um, yeah. Cattle drives, similar kind of thing. Now, they could get fresh food on the way, but of course, the thing about cattle drives is you can't actually eat the cattle you're driving because they're not yours. They belong to whoever. Yeah, they belong to the rancher. So you can't just kill a cattle on the way for fresh meat. So they would actually get fresh meat either by trading along the way or hunting if they had the time. Now, and you may think, well, it's a cattle drive. It's not analogous to Bilbo Baggins and friends. Okay, well, yeah, actually it is, because it comes down to how long you're going to be on the road and how much food do you need to survive. It's very easy to overlook logistics.
No refuge from Synod's Skykeep, cruel. Bone to strike.
I suppose another example is when and I can't remember it as well, when the Fellowship of the Ring set out from Rivendell. They would have had to carry everything with them as well.
Stolen icon.
Now, I must admit, I'm one of those strange people who actually finds that, under some circumstances, if it's well written, logistics to be quite fascinating. So, this is where we well, we triggered the trap again. don't remember you lot being here last time.
Hail, child of Synod.
Well, one way or the other, we seem to have forced a respawn here. So why is it I cannot find the intel I'm supposed to be stealing? Oh, you irritating game. Ah! Hang on. I'm pretty certain I came... Did I not come into here? Alright, now I've got to go and slay the Banneret in the Glades. Okay, we actually finally did it. Same to you. Whatever it was you were saying.
Here a surprise leader!
And thank you very much. Right. Well, that was interesting. I learned something today. How to finally put down those pesky Hoojamowatsas. Right. Am I done? Can I get out of here now? Here's something else too. About well, we're using the Lord of the Rings as our example. So it's sort of implied that our friends, the orcs and goblins, are what, primarily meat eaters? Are they, you know, entirely carnivorous? That would be logistically awkward. A lot easier to. The same comment can be made about the books, to be honest. Although the movies as well. I mean, I understand. Look, I'm not. This is just me commenting. I understand why things are the way they are. You know, if I ever, and it's not going to happen, but you know, if I wrote an epic swords and sorcery fantasy epic quest type thing, I would do the logistics, if not correctly, then as correctly as I can, you know? But that's just me. It doesn't detract from Tolkien's work. Right, I think we're done, aren't we? I read Tolkien, oh grief, regularly when I was a kid. Read the Silmarillion. Read The Hobbit. You know, did the whole thing. I will probably never read it again. No, at some point, having said that, I'm now going to have to sit down and read it again. Where are you? Somewhere around here there should be one of the Silent Rose's soldiers. Assuming they're soldiers and not mercenaries or something like that. Where'd they go? Well, at some point I got to do the organ, haven't I? When I was a kid, I liked the book. Yeah. I don't know how influential it was on me. To be honest. But yes, I liked the book. I liked the Silmarillion. Won't say loved, liked. I've never been a fanboy or fan being. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I was the kind of person who would sit down with the entirety of the Lord of the Rings and read it in a day, type of thing, when I was a kid. I mean, 24 hours. It's 1,000 pages nearly. So yeah, I did like it. Then I hate to say it, I grew up. In some ways, I think I maybe ruined myself by learning more and more stuff about various things. It makes you look at it and say, nah, there had to be a better solution. I mean, are you seriously telling me that, you know, the only solution to dealing with Sauron was to destroy his ring, and you can only destroy the ring by halfway taking it to him so you can throw it into an active volcano. Step 1, find another active volcano. See if that works. I mean, yeah, I know it's magic, but how did they know, right? How did they know that the only way to destroy the One Ring was to return it to Mount Doom and toss it in? What tests did they run to determine that? I'm sure there are answers to this. Just like, why didn't they get the eagles to carry Frodo to Mount Doom? You know, that's been addressed. I don't care. I think it would have been a better solution. Oh, they would have been caught by the Nazgul. Oh, they are not at anyone's beck and call. Excuse me, that's why you have negotiation and diplomacy. You know, hey, we want to save your entire realm and we need to do this. Can you help? And if they say no, well, okay, then that's again why you have negotiations. And I can't remember what Tolkien's explanation was, by the way. He did actually have an explanation for why they couldn't simply fly Frodo to Mount Doom. And I can't remember what it was, I'm afraid. Oh, yeah, being caught by the Nazgul. Have you ever heard of Nap of the Earth flying? Fly low, fly fast. You seriously? Yeah. Oh, what am I doing? I'm actually heading for here, aren't I? I think it's here. Is it this world tree I'm after?
Stars! Help!
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Stars, waste. More grease for the soil. Stars!
Scrap steel, something you always need. And in the process, completely forgot what I was doing. Yeah, apparently heading in the wrong direction is my skill today. Oh no, what am I saying? If I'm notorious for anything, it's probably going the wrong way. I do it in Warframe all the time. Often at great speed and significant determination and positivity.
Focus!
Oh, there it is.
Dirty, not my blood. Blood for life.
Okay, wrong tree as usual. Which tree did I start with? Yeah, must have been this one.
Ancient roots from which you've grown, voicing seed, take us home.
Oh! I had no idea you could do that. Oh well. Huh. I had absolutely no idea you could do that. Oh, that is useful. How about that? Can I just... What did I use to do that? Okay, now I've got to try this again. So that got me to there. But
Ancient roots from which you've grown, voicing seed, take us home.
wow. Oh, yeah, that makes traveling so much easier. I'm an idiot. I'm just gonna have to check something here because I'm pretty certain they're gonna be. Yeah, Soulframe, World Tree, fast travel. What are your limitations? Ah, Weebet seeds. Yes, I've been harvesting weevil seeds and wondering what they're for. That's what they're for. Okay. How many do I have? Is there a search option? Packs, weapons, armor, accessories. No. Those are potions. These are... What are these anyway? Don't know what those are for. These are, yeah, my totems. These are fragments. This is everything else. And how am I supposed to figure out what is what? Oh, great. Could you please at least... Do I get to sort them? Oh. Oh! Okay, give that to Lady Diora. Okay, we will have to do that. I want to find out how many Weavet seeds I've got. Why am I feeling like I'm missing something? Where's my... How do I find my Weavet seeds? I don't even know what they look like. What on earth is that? Okay. Is there a search option? Is there a search option? Okay, that's the pacts. That's weapons. Armor. Yes. Yes. How do I find how many Weavet seeds I've got? There's not a search option. Oh, never mind. We are headed to... Where are we? Oh, okay. I've got to walk there. What? Okay. Walking there it is, I guess. Or in my case, gallop there. I had not seen an option to hand over the intel, so we will fight our way through. While I endlessly ramble about fantasy folklore, fantasy literature, or literature in general. Right, which way was I headed? That's not helpful. Right. I am headed more or less the right way. Which of course takes me straight through. Back in the early days of the channel, there was a sort of plan to try something like that. I did have did read Grimm's fairy tales a few times. To be honest with you, it got a lot of turns out to be a lot of work.
So you've chosen swords and
I did once sit down to see if I could do not an audio book per se. Well, yeah, it would have been. It would have ended up that way. Of a particular cult book, cult favorite called The Five Fingers. Reading it is very difficult. Not obviously not reading, but narrating. You know, doing the whole audio book thing. Yeah, it's getting consistent tone. It takes a lot of skill that I really don't have, although, you know, I suppose it could be acquired. But then you have to be a halfway decent editor so that you can take all the recording, normalize the sound, and then fix any mistakes that were made. It's an awful lot of work. In the days when I did do a channel where I actually had to read from a script, I would if you want to hear just my voice, then you can go over to Forgotten Aviation. But yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot of work. I'm not really an editor. This is a heck of a lot easier than doing Forgotten Aviation ever was, I can tell you. I do wing it. Winging it pretty much now. Right, let's find the Enclave. I'm headed the wrong way. As usual, headed the wrong way. Yes, as I like to say. With great confidence and positivity at high speed, and heading the wrong way. I'm gonna hand over our intel to Lady What's-Her-Face. It'll let me. I've never seen that as an option, to be honest. But... Actually, one of the things I'm looking forward to in this game is, you know how some of the music, like, what is it, Lullaby of the Manifold in Warframe, is absolutely, some of the music they got in there is absolutely awesome. I'm hoping we get something similar here.
Staying busy, I hope.
Okay, so...
Safe. Tis a safety paid in sin, Synod's loyal regent. Though, my soul reclaimed
How do I hand over?
thirst for sabotage. And that's a drink we can all toast to, it seems.
How do I hand over the intelligence I've picked?
Oh, didn't mind the clarty lot of your tale. They call themselves the Silent Rose. Mostly Aldians too bloated or deaf to heed the spell song. They remember Envoy. As do I.
Ooh.
Well done, Envoy. Your triumphs lighten
Finally!
shame. Oh, Garen.
Which I've got, I've got, oh, it's a fragment. Eesh.
Very well. Assume your position. Wished!
Sell. Sinner's stratagem. What? Okay, that's probably because I don't know, hit my maximum for the day. That's fine. That's how you do it. Okay, so probably tomorrow. Oh, no, the game isn't hard to learn. It just takes time. I mean, look, I don't know everything about Warframe, and I've got 1,000 hours into it. This has just gotten started. There's a lot of stuff I don't know. I have found different enclaves. I don't know how I sign up for them. I could look it up, I suppose, but I haven't. So, yeah, you know. No, it's not hard to learn. The basics, oh, here's how you shoot a bow, here's how you hit something, here's how you stick a dagger into something's guts. That's fairly straightforward. Some of the basics are fairly easy. Find the world trees and so on and so forth. If you've played Warframe, it actually helps because a lot of it is taken from Warframe and then applied to a fantasy world and represented. I don't mean represented, I mean re-presented. The presentation is changed, but a lot of it's the same, just renamed and given to you in a different fashion. I mean, like Warframe, you know, it is grindy. tomorrow evening I plan on running Warframe, and I'm still trying to work towards getting the components to build 2 Warframes, because I have the silly idea that once I get the Kullervo Warframe, and I finish building Araxia's Signature's weapons, and once I've got all that together, I will rank them up in one stream. Just because, you know, I actually do have Araxia. I finished building it, but I want her signature weapons in there. So there's a lot of grinding in this as well. By being a founder, getting the founders pack, I got a bit of a leg up. Of course, I went to all that trouble of getting the founders pack, and I'm not wearing. Also, I got the dagger and the medallion. So, right. So I think I am actually going to bring this to an end. I will be back in the morning with Vintage Story, where I will be making bread and probably going out into frigid cold weather to chop down trees so I can make charcoal so that I can survive a wee bit longer, and a lot of panning sand to get copper and bits, because yeah, the the risk of freezing to death is very real. And then, of course, got the Long Dark. And then Warframe tomorrow evening. In fact, this time tomorrow evening, I will probably be making the very same spiel. All going well. So, hope you all have a great rest of the day. Thank you for the likes. Thanks for chatting to me, Tony. It does actually make the game... It does make streaming a lot easier. It really does. I will see you all next time, or some of you.